The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is Friday in the Riv, and as usual, we've got so much to talk about, we don't even know where to begin, but let's begin with...
Begin to begin.
Begin to begin. That was an old 40s song, I think.
That's right.
And, yeah, Paulie Pockets, not Coogan, not Coogan, is now trying to make political headway and address issues he's been ignoring for the 3.5 years he's been in office. So we know what he's been saying. He's never mentioned affordable housing, and when he does,
Right.
It's like, we got 23 units, we got this, we got that. So he has allegedly said, and he released something, but I haven't seen it in print yet, but I've got a lot of people, that now he's talking about affordable housing, and we have to have a balanced city, and we need like a one-third affordable, one-third market rate, and one-third, I don't know, public housing, which is absurd because you can't have, he was complaining. See, that's the great thing about Coogan. You can see he's a shameless politician who will only deal with problems or pretend to deal with problems with a lot of dialogue, because he'll never do anything, like he hasn't done in 3.5 years when it's an election year.
That's
now
right.
He knows these things are becoming an issue.
Right.
So now it's all of a sudden, oh yeah, we need 1/3 of affordable housing. Well, if you're going to put, we've got what, 23 units now?
Yep.
Maybe 43 at the end. At that rate, Paul, it's going to be the next century when we have a one-third. And by the way, just because I know that you, as a shameless politician, you have what's called political amnesia, and you forget what you say. But we got it. We've got the audios and we got the videos. We've got them saying that basically it's a good thing to have high rents.
That's right.
Down the road, it'll be better with higher rents. You don't want, and we also got you, and apparently this is a real faux pas. I mean, I just can't believe you forgot you said this. But you were whining that we had enough public housing. We already got 20-some%, and now you, look, I know you weren't a math major. I don't know if you majored in anything except putting your hands in your pockets. I don't know if that's can you get a bachelor's degree? And maybe if you go to California,
maybe
they got a bachelor's in witchcraft. Maybe they got a bachelor's degree and walking around with your hands in your pocket and your head up your derriere. I don't know, but it's not math, because I hate to tell you.
Actually, they do. It's a bachelor's in political science.
Yeah. He doesn't have that. That's for sure. But I hate to tell you this, but the last time I checked, 1/3 was 33.33%.
That's right.
That's more than we have now.
That's right.
And you were complaining about we had too much before. Does my memory serve me correctly?
Can you tell me what fair housing is?
No, that was the other thing he said. He said, oh, we want affordable housing, we want public housing, we want, and we want fair. He didn't mention workforce. That was
Right.
probably what he was alluding to,
Right.
But he's so dumb he couldn't remember it. They had to write it down for him. He's like Biden. He just starts babbling stuff, and he goes off, and maybe he's got a little bit of touch of dementia,
Right.
because he's forgotten that he has been opposed to everything like this. So this is what someone posted, because I say we don't make these things up. Somebody sent this to me. Did you hear that? Coogan and his boss, I guess we know who boss is, right? Said there is housing for everyone. Market rate housing, Section 8 housing, affordable housing, and fair housing. I don't know. We've done a pretty good deep dive into the housing issue for a while now.
Yeah, we have.
I've never heard anybody talk about fair housing.
Neither have I.
So, they make up as they go along.
And here's the thing. Section 8 housing has a 5 to 10 year waiting list. That's Section 8.
Yeah.
Public housing has a 3 to 5 year waiting list. Okay?
I am so glad that you said that because, again, Paulie just talks. It's political rhetoric.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Oh, yeah, people, don't worry about it, but try to get into, as you said, go over those weights again.
5 to 10 years
5 to 10
for Section 8.
Yep.
3 to 5 years for housing.
Yep.
Okay? 97% occupancy in the Fall River Housing Authority.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I don't know what the other 3% is. I don't know if that's units that can't be occupied at this point in time, if there's problems with them, damage, whatever the case may be.
Patrick won't move out. I'm only kidding, Patrick.
But it just goes to show, and now in today's Herald News, there's an article about the Timeo shelter, homeless shelter. And they're going to serve breakfast from 8:30 to 9:30, and they're going to serve lunch from 11:30 to 12:30. They're making washers and dryers available so people can do their laundry, and they're making available showers, hot showers. Mm-hmm. Now, this is one of Paul's promises, if you remember. He did make this as a promise that he was going to have a mobile, though. He said mobile showers.
Yeah, but look, let's not transition before we get out of this thing.
Well, no, the reason why I say this is we're giving them homeless shelters for people to go and have a place to sleep.
Yeah.
This isn't a place to sleep. This is a place to show up. And then to top it off, here's the icing on the cake. We have board games for them to play when they're here.
Look, this guy he's so far out to lunch, he's at dinner already. Okay? This guy just makes these ridiculous kinds of things like but while we're at it, we'll talk about this. But this is what the guy finished with. He said, did you hear that? Coogan and his boss said the housing for everyone, market rate housing, Section 8 housing, affordable housing, and fair housing, which, by the way, that's FOA, so that would be 25% because they listed FOA, not 1/3. But then he said 1/3. But like I said, they're obviously not math majors. Then the next thing on this is that guy is nuts. Live or a soundbite on the news, they made a statement on it today. But while we're on this, to show that he has a total insensitivity, he's clueless. He doesn't care. He doesn't like poor people. Number one, I don't care who you are. That shows how he's lived in that academic bubble his whole life. They walk around with their hands in their pockets. They don't do anything. We're 50th in the world in education. And these clowns live in this environment where they're all protected. You can commit crimes and they cover it up. They live in a different world. They're like politicians. They're up there protected. You know how moronic it is to say that we want a balanced city, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, or 25%, 20. There's no place on the planet that happens. Because the reality is, demographics in a city and the way a city is comprised is based on the people who are in it. Newton does not have 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. 75% of the people in Newton have bachelor's degrees. They have the highest, or one of the highest, household and per capita incomes in the state. Do you think that they have a major problem with getting enough affordable housing for the majority of their people? No, dummy, they don't. You go to poorer cities, you look at Pittsburgh, you look at Philly, they have different neighborhoods, and they have a lower percentage. Fall River has one of the lowest percentage of rich people in the state. So you're going to give them 1/3 of the market? You hope so. The train's going to bring them down? Bull. Number one in crime, dirty streets, underperforming schools. They're not coming. You're filling them up with people from the naval base on a temporary basis. You're filling up with Section 8s coming down from Brockton. This is BS. This is political rhetoric, and you're so dumb you can't remember what you said. You can't remember that you said. You don't like it? Move to New Bedford. You don't like it? Buy a house. You don't like it? But while we get that, I got to segue, because this is important. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday at a meeting, after a meeting, and he said, you know, I was in the elevator in City Hall. I went to pay my taxes. He owns a 3-family house, and he's owner-occupied because he can't afford to have a single family anymore. And he said, and guess who got in the elevator with me? I don't know, it was near closing time. He goes, the mayor, some other guy. He said, so I told him, Jesus, these taxes just keep going up and up and up. You know, what's the story? And you know what his answer was? To show how totally clueless and insensitive. He doesn't care about anything. You don't like it? Move. He looked at the guy and said, well, the house is the best investment you'll ever make in your life. Really? Does that address the fact that you've done nothing to try to hold the taxes down for these people? That this guy may not even be able to afford to live in a 3-decker anymore because he happens to be a retiree on a fixed income? I mean, the cluelessness, the insensitivity, and down the street, what are they doing in Dartmouth? Affordable housing is an issue in the South Coast, except in Fall River, but now Paul has wiped it away. I took care of it. I said we're going to put 1/3. That's it. Or a quarter, or whatever I said, because I'm like Biden. I can't remember what I said yesterday. Don't worry about it. So let it be written. So let it be done. But he never does anything. All he does is talk. Like you said, homeless people. He's the guy that took their tents away.
Right.
Now for political reasons, I'm paying out of my pocket.
Yeah.
I'm giving them money to clean up their own crap. And we're going to have showers for them. Well, they didn't have showers for the last 3 years you were in office, did they? You didn't give them showers. You took their tents away. You phony. You phony. Now all of a sudden, and look what it says here. With housing a fundamental need, not in Fall River, Paulie Pockets is taking care of it. He acknowledged it now. It only took him 3.5 years or so to acknowledge it. Now he's acknowledged it. But is he going to do something about it? Well, what has he done about crime? Nothing. What has he done about ATVs? Nothing. What has he done about covering up stuff? Nothing. And it is just incredible. So it's a fundamental need. It's vital to share the programs and other resources available to help residents struggling. Wait a minute. Struggling. Find and maintain a place to live. Congressman Keating convened the South Coast Affordable Housing Forum. Did Paul go to that?
I don't know.
I didn't see him. I looked at the picture. They had a picture of people in the audience. I didn't hear him mention anything about it. And this is in the Herald News, but look who wrote it. Somebody from the Standard Times.
Right.
So they had to cut and paste. Because they'll never put anything that's going to make Paulie look bad.
Right.
But they had to do this.
Right.
But, you know, affordable housing is here for everybody. And they just don't pay attention.
If you're one of the 23.
If you're one of the 23, I mean, this is ludicrous. This guy is such an unmitigated that he thinks people are stupid. But we're not going to let him forget, because we're going to play you saying, market rate housing is good. High rents are good down the road. Oh, really? It's good to make people, and by the way, on this morning, I watched an economic piece. They're predicting another recession,
Right.
major recession coming.
Right.
But don't worry, Paulie's not going to have a recession. All Paulie's friends aren't going to have a recession. We have one of the smallest percentages of rich people, but they have one thing in common. They're all Paul's friends.
Wow.
And they're all making money.
What's interesting is they have 1% of the population, but 99% of the profit.
Yep, exactly. So somebody sent this to me, and it's somebody's,
Is that somebody's tax bill?
two of them.
Yeah, I thought so.
Two of them. And they did a good job. I guess they didn't say.
They know math.
Yeah, well, let's start with this one. It went back to 2009. Okay, in 2009, the tax bill was 1824. 210, it went up to 1901. I'm going to show you this. I'm not making these numbers up, even though my color is going, because he had all the percentages in a lighter color, and my color cartridges are going because I print so much stuff, we get so much loose. So it went up 4.5%. To 2011, long before
COVID.
the Cougs,
Yep. Long before Mr. Coogan.
it went down to 1877. That was a minus 1.3%. 12, it went up to 215, 7% increase. 13, it went up 12%. 14, it went up 3%. 15, 4%. 16. But then when we start getting into the area where the Coogans and the rest of these people that have the mantra that, shut up, you're supposed to pay taxes all the time. Just shut up. That's what you do. We're not supposed to control our spending. Shut up and pay. Just keep paying no matter how badly we mishandle and spend your money. Then it went up 17. This is, it was getting close now. So now it goes up 2.9%, 3.9. 18, we're getting around Paulie's time now, aren't we? Woo, baby. 19.3% it went up. Okay. And then 20, 3.6, 21.4. And here's Paulie. Welcome to Paulieville. But remember, he's covering it up, and it still went up in 23, 14.7%. So let's look at this. In 08, the guy was paying, the female, I don't know who it is, $1,824. Now they're paying $4,088. So guess what? That's more than double.
Right.
Because last time I doubled 18, it was 36. And this is 40. Okay? So we're already like over more than 100% increase.
Mine's the same way.
Okay? Oh, this is the good one. This is the good one. Here comes the other guy. A person. Apparently, they had the tax assessment. This guy's even broken it down to the tax assessment on the house. So I guess he had a pretty nice house, and you know it was assessed at around in Fall River. That's okay, 279, 250, 238. The assessment's 235. Here's Paulie taking it over. Paulie takes it over, and we're doing another reassessment. By
Yes,
the way.
we are.
Remember that. So he started out at 2,535. He's up to 5,557, and the assessment in his house went from, well, we'll average it out, around 250 to $401,800. A 55.2% increase in the price of his house, and more than double, because if you double 25, that's 50, it's 55. So since Paulie's been in, there's the major bumps in the taxes. Okay? His tax assessment went up 55%, and his taxes went up 48% this year. You do not deserve to be the mayor of City of Fall River for another term. You've done this to the people, and you try to make it, you try to normalize it. You're trying to say this is okay, and you're plugging up the budget with ARPA money. You got all kinds of, this is only the beginning, people. If this guy gets in, you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna pull a nutty like one of our new councilors, because they can't maintain decorum, but we will maintain decorum. But somebody did send me a picture. They said, allegedly, this is a picture of an individual who's notorious for getting very upset and not maintaining decorum. This is a childhood picture. So I don't know. Allegedly, this could be a picture, and the caption is, "This is me when I don't get my way." God, I'll show you that again. It's a pretty cute picture. I mean, cute kid, but he's pulling attention. Maybe it's like, well, my color's off. I don't know what color the baby's dressed in, so I don't know if it's a female or it looks like a female. It looks like it's some shade of pink or something like that, nighty. But listen. We're showing a little levity here, but this is serious stuff. People in Fall River are dying. It's going to get worse for these people. CJ, why don't you tell a story you told me about what's going on in your neighborhood?
Which one?
Well, the one about the guy that's building the houses, and the house next.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, remember that? And
he bought this property, and it wasn't dilapidated, but it needed some work.
Yeah.
And he gutted the entire building, redid the vinyl siding, put all new downspouts, all new roofing, did all. Now he's working on the inside. And I asked, just out of curiosity, what are you getting for rent? He goes, for the first and second floor, $2,000 a month. For the third floor, $1,900.
Yeah, well.
And I don't live in a high-end Highland neighborhood.
And okay, let's just.
I don't live in the Highlands.
I don't know. How many bedrooms are those things?
3, and then 2 on the third floor, I think.
Huh.
3 bedrooms on the first and second, 2 on the third.
Okay. So we'll give them 2 bedrooms, we'll give them a household income of $48,000.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't need the calculator. $2,000 a month for 12 months.
$24,000.
$24,000.
50% of your salary.
So that's $24,000 is almost ironically 50% of the household income.
Right.
In the city of Fall River. You're going to pay 50%, and those things probably do not come with utilities.
No, they don't.
No, they do not. And they will probably be assessed additionally on the water fee. You know something, Paul? You have absolutely no idea of the city you live in. And this is insulting to the people for you to pretend to care now. It's too little, way too late. You're going to care about the homeless? You took their tents away. We know that. we've got the article.
And you made it a big deal. He sent workers out to the homeless tent farms, or whatever he wants to call them, and took them out so they could take down their tents.
Right. Be gone.
Be gone. Yeah. And he took them to the shelters, Timeo and First Step In, and they were overflowed.
And probably campaign contributors to him.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt that.
Here's my last dime.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the people who are getting. But look, you took their tents away. You don't want them here. You know that. You don't want anybody here that's poor. You delusionary. You're not going to be here. We know that. You bought that Bobby townhouse just so you could come back to Fall River and run for office. That's not the house of somebody who wants to be a permanent resident of Fall River. Listen, I don't say you need a 55-bedroom mansion. But I mean, if you were really committed to the city of Fall River, would you be living in a cookie box? I mean, your lawn's the size of a postage stamp. That's a starter house for a young couple. And I never see anybody there. I drive by there all the time because it's close to my neighborhood.
Yep.
I've never seen anybody here. I don't even know if he even lives there. He might actually still live in Somerset. Who knows? That's that's just my.
But would it be the first politician in Fall River that did that?
It was just a question I have. I'm not saying he does, but listen, we know one thing. When he retired, he got his butt out of Fall River as fast as he could, and he only came back to run to get rid of the superintendent that was going to fire him, and then he was resurrected with a new life in politics. So he's only going to stay here as long as when he's gone. When he's not mayor any longer, he's going to get out of the city of Fall River. He's not going to stay here. He was never politically active before.
No, he wasn't.
Except to lobby to get more taxes on your back with Durfee. Never politically active, and when he's not mayor anymore, he'll disappear into the woodwork like he did before, because he has no intention, and he doesn't even know the city he lives in. He's making himself a lot of money. He's got his big pension. He's got his big fat paycheck that he can put in the bank the whole time.
And that's how he pays the homeless to clean up the camps.
It is so blatantly obsequious.
Yep.
I mean, my Lord. Oh, look, I'm paying them to clean it up. Okay, and every time I see somebody on an on-ramp, I give them $1. Liar. I saw you drive by and I get the guy in. Now, you don't do that, Paul. You only do that during an election year. All of a sudden, you had this epiphany. Oh, yeah, we do need affordable housing. But you know what you forgot to tell everybody? How you're going to do it. You don't have any plan. You never had a plan. Were you at that forum? Were you looking for ways to increase the affordable housing? Have you reached out to anybody? No. As a matter of fact, you tried to take the project back that was supposed to be strictly for veterans and low-income people.
That's right.
You tried to renege on that deal. Listen, Paul, maybe you've lost you got political amnesia, but we don't. And we are going to run every single one of it. Every time you open your mouth and say things like this, we're going to remind everybody that it's a blatant political lie. You don't care, you never did. The only word that could ever come out of your mouth was market rate housing. Mm-hmm. Market rate housing, market rate housing, market rate housing. Yeah, how about, we got 23 units. I'm talking to the market rate. How many are you going to stick in there? 1 or 2 units. Now you want 1/3 of the city. I want to see you go to the next market rate developer and say, I want 1/3 of your units to be affordable. You know what he's going to tell you? Yeah, you're crazy. Look, you don't care. You've shown a total disregard for the people in Fall River, and you always have, and this is not going to fly. Take it away, CJ.
Well, what's very interesting is that New Bedford did just that.
Yeah.
They have a development right now that's going on. It's a 110-year-old building. It's the Holy Name School. And they turned around and they said, we want 1/3 affordable housing. And guess what he got? 1/3 affordable housing. Yeah. Imagine that.
But remember,
when
Mitchell
you ask,
always
you might
had
get
a
it.
plan.
Yep. Yeah. Mitchell's always had a plan. Something we don't have in Fall River, and that's the problem. And we've never had a plan in Fall River. We can go back to Eddie Lambert. Even before Eddie Lambert, we've never had a plan. We've always moved along to get along. And as I said in the last show, mayors have found out that the Fall River budget isn't a budget. It's a puzzle. And I picture it as one of those picture puzzles. You know the ones where you slide the tiles around to make the picture? That's the Fall River budget. And that's the sad state of affairs for us, because we have no way of actually making a plan to do anything. And that's sad. Even with the opera money, we have no plan to do anything. So that shows you how poor in financial management this mayor is. I want to remind you all that on Monday, it is Patriots Day. We will not be having a show. I'm sorry. And I want you all to have a great long weekend. And remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Remember your veterans.